made an awful mess of it. I do my writing here at the side of the room because, well, the roof leaks directly over my desk. And I would move the desk, but it covers a hole I left in the floor. And the floor was built on the side of the hill, so in heavy rains, the room tends to slide downhill. Many's the day I've stood in this cabin and passed my neighbors standing in the road. Still, I'm happy here. Although I ain't get enough visitors to suit me. People tend to shy away from writers. They assume that we're always busy thinking. It's not true. Even my own dear, sweet mother doesn't like to disturb me, so she always tiptoes up here and leaves my food outside the door. I haven't had a hot meal in years. But I've done a great deal of writing in here. Perhaps too much. I look out the window and think that life is passing me at a furious rate. So I ask myself the question, what force is it that compels me to write so incessantly, day after day, page after page, and story after story? And the answer is quite simple. I have no choice. I am but a writer. Sometimes I think I may be mad. Oh, well, I'm quite harmless, but I do admit to fits of wandering. I find myself engaged in conversation where I hear nothing and see only the silent movement of lips and answer a meaningless, oh, yes, yes, of course. And all the while I'm thinking, oh, he'll make a wonderful character for a story, this one. And while I'm writing, I enjoy it. And I like reading the proofs too, but as soon as it appears in print, I can't bear it. I see that it's all wrong, a mistake that it ought never to have been written, and I am miserable. Oh, then the public reads it. Yes, charming, clever, charming, but a far cry from Tolstoy, or a fine thing, but Turgenev's Fathers and Sons is better. And so it will be till my dying day. Charming and clever, nothing more. And when I die, my friends will walk by my grave and say, here lies, so-and-so, a good writer, but, Turgenov was better! It's funny, but before you came in, I was just thinking to myself, what if I gave it up one day? What would I do instead? Well, I've never freely admitted this before, but to you here in the theater tonight, I would like to tell you what I would most like to do with my life. Ever since I was a small child, oh, excuse me a moment, just making a note. An idea just occurred to me. A subject for a short story. Yes. Now, it was my mentioning the theater that sparked me. Uh-huh. Now, what were we talking about a moment ago? No matter. My thoughts are consumed with this new story. See if this appeals to you. It starts in a theater. It starts on the opening night of a new season. It starts with the arrival of those dear and devoted patrons of the arts, waving and greeting each other in the grand salon, commenting on how this one looks and how that one is dressed, scarcely knowing the play that they are about to see this evening, with the exception of one man, Ivan Ilyich Cherdyakov. Ivan Ilyich Cherdyakov, a civil servant, a clerk in the Ministry of Public Parks, had any passion in life at all, it was the theater. He certainly had hopes and ambitions for higher office and dedicated his life to hard work, zeal, and patience. Still, he could not deny himself this one great pleasure, so he purchased 2 tickets in the very best section of the theater for the open night performance of Rostov's The Bearded Countess. As fortune would have it, into the theater that night came his respected superior, General Mikhail Brezilov, the Minister of Public Parks himself.
Good evening, General.
What? Oh, yes, good evening.
Permit me, sir. I am Cherdyakov, Ivan Ilyich. This is a great honor for me, sir.
Yes?
Like yourself, dear General, I too serve the Ministry of Public Parks. That is to say, I serve you, who is indeed himself the Minister of Public Parks. I am the Assistant Chief Clerk. in the Department of Trees and Bushes.
Ah, yes. Lovely trees and bushes this year. Keep up the good work. Very nice.
My wife would very much like to say hello, dear General. This is she, my wife, Madame Cherdyakov.
How do you do?
My pleasure.
My pleasure, General.
How do you do?
Madame Brazilhoff, my wife, Madame Cherdyakov.
How do you do, Madame Brazilhoff?
How do you do?
I just had the pleasure of meeting your husband.
And I am my wife's husband. How do you do, Madame Brazilhoff?
Sorry. Terribly sorry.
I hope you enjoy the play, sir.
I will if I can watch it.
Feeling quite pleased with having made the most of this golden opportunity, Ivan Ilyich Cherdyakov sat back to enjoy the bearded countess. He was no longer a stranger to the Minister of Public Parks. They had become, if one wanted to be generous about the matter, familiar with each other. And then, quite suddenly, without any warning, like a bolt from a gray, thundering sky, Ivan Ilyich Cherdyakov reared his head back and...
Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, Excellency. I am so sorry.
Never mind, it's all right.
All right? It certainly is not all right. It is unpardonable. It was monstrous of me.
You make too much of the matter. Let it rest.
Let it rest. How can I let it rest? Permit me to wipe your neck, dear General. That's the least I can do.
Leave it be. It's all right, I say.
But I splattered you, sir. Your complete head is splattered. It was an accident, I assure you, but it is disgusting.
I'm sorry. My apologies.
The thing is, Excellency, it came completely without warning. It was out of my nose before I could stifle it. Yes, of course, I'm sorry. It's not a cold, if that's what you were wondering. Probably just a particle of dust in the nostril.
But try as he might, Cherdyakov could not put the incident out of his mind. The sneeze, no more than an innocent anatomical accident, blew out of all proportions in his mind until it resembled the angry roar of a cannon aimed squarely at the enemy camp. He played the incident back in his mind, slowing the procedure down so that he may view again, in horror, the infamous deed.
Charming. Charming.
Yes, charming.
Charming. Simply charming. Wasn't it charming, my dear?
Well, I found it quite utterly charming.
I was completely charmed by it.
Excuse me, Excellency?
Somebody's tapping me. Who's tapping?
I-
Someone's tapping.
I'm tapping, sir. I'm the tapper.
Oh.
Cherdyakov.
Oh, stand back, my dear. It is the sneezer.
No, it's all right. I'm all sneezed out. I was just concerned as to you going out into the night air with a damp head.
Oh, that. It was a trifle. A mere faux pas. Forget it, young man. Amusing play, don't you think? Did you find it amusing?
Amusing? Oh, yes. Oh, that's too true. I haven't laughed this hard in years.
Which part interested you the most?
The sneeze. When I sneezed on you. It was unforgivable of me, sir.
Forget it, young man. Come, my dear. It looks like rain. I don't want to get my head wet again.
Oh, you shall not let people steal on you, dear. And you are not to be sneezed at.
I'm ruined! Ruined! He'll have me fired from trees and bushes. He's gonna send me down to branches and twigs.
Come on, Ivan.
What?
You mustn't let it concern you. It was merely a sneeze. He probably forgot it already.
Do you really think so?
No one's scared, Ivan! And so they walked home in despair.
Perhaps I should buy him a nice gift. Maybe some Turkish towels?
Sherdyakov's once promising career had literally been blown away.
Why did this happen to me? Why did we go to the theater at all? Why did we sit in the balcony with people of our own class? They love to sneeze on each other.
Come to bed, Ivan.
Perhaps if I were to call the General and explain matters again in such a charming, honest, and self-effacing manner, he'd have no choice but to forgive me.
Maybe it's best not to remind him, Ivan.
No. If I ever expect to become a gentleman, I must behave like one.
And so the morning came. It just so happened that this was the day the General listened to petitions. And since there were 50 or 60 petitions ahead of Cherdyakov, he waited from morning till late afternoon. And wait he did.
Next.
I'm not next, Excellency. I'm last.
Very well then. Last.
That's me, General.
Well, what is your petition?
I have no petition, sir. I'm not a petitioner.
Then you waste my time.
Do you not recognize me? We met last night under rather explosive circumstances. I am the splatterer.
The what?
The sneezer. The one who sneezed. The sneezing splatterer.
Indeed. And what is it you want now? A gesundheit?
No, Excellency. Your forgiveness. I would just like to point out, there was no political or antisocial motivation behind my sneeze. It was a nonpartisan, nonviolent act of God, and I curse the day this protuberance formed itself upon my face. It is a hateful nose, sir, and I am not responsible for its indiscretions. Punish that which committed the crime, but absolve the innocent body behind it. Exile my nose, but forgive me, kinship, forgive me.
My dear young man, I'm not angry with your nose. I'm far too busy to have time for your nasal problems. I suggest you go home and take a hot bath, or a cold one. Take something, but don't bother me with this silly business again. Gibber, 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 that's all I've heard all day. Gibber, gibber, gibber.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, and your wife, and your household. May your days be sweet, and may your nights be better than your days.
The feeling of relief that came over Cherdyakov was enormous.
May the birds sing at your window, and may the coffee in your cup be strong and hot.
The weight of the burden that was lifted was inestimable.
I worship the chair you sit on, and the uniform you wear that sits on the chair I worship.
He walked home, singing and whistling like a lark. Life was surely a marvel, a joy, a heavenly paradise.
Oh God, I am happy!
And yet,
yet,
when Cherdyakov arrived at home, he began to think.
have I been the butt of a cruel and thoughtless joke?
Had the minister toyed with him?
If he had no intention of punishing me, why did he torment me so unmercifully?
If the sneeze meant so little to the minister, why did he deliberately cause Cherdyakov to writhe in his bed?
To twisted agony the entire night!
Cherdyakov was furious!
I am furious!
He foamed and fumed and paced the night through. And in the morning, he called out to his wife, Sonia!
Sonia! I have been humiliated.
You, Ivan? Who would humiliate you? You're such a kind and generous person.
Who? I'll tell you who. General Brazelhoff, the Minister of Public Parks.
What did he do?
That swine. I was humiliated in such a subtle fashion, it was almost indiscernible. His cunning is equal only to his cruelty. He practically forced me to go down to his office and beg and grovel on my knees. I was reduced to a gibbering idiot.
You were that reduced?
I must go back and tell him what I really think. The lower classes must stand up so that men of all nations and creeds, regardless of color and religion, will be free to sneeze on their superiors. It is he who will be humiliated by I.
And so Cherdyakov came to humiliate he.
Last. Well?
Well, you say? Do you not recognize me, Excellency? Look in my face. Yes, you are correct. It is I, once again.
It is you, once again, who?
Cherdyakov, Excellency. I have returned, taken neither a hot bath nor a cold one.
Who let this filthy man in? What is it?
What is it? What is it, you ask? You sit there behind your desk in your lofty position as General and Minister of Public Parks and ask me, a lowly civil servant, what is it? You sit there with full knowledge that there is no equality in this life, that there are those of us who serve and those that are served, those who obey and those that are obeyed, those who bow and those that are bowed to. You know that certain events take place in this life that cause some of us to be humiliated and some that are the cause of that humiliation. And still you ask, what is it?
What is it? Don't stand there gibbering like an idiot. What is it you want?
I'll tell you what I want! I wanted to apologize again for sneezing on you. I wasn't sure if I made it clear. It was an accident, I assure you. An accident!
Out! Out, you fool! Idiot! Imbecile! I never want to see you again. If you ever cross my line of vision, I'll have you exiled forever. What is your name?
Cherdyakov.
You germ spreader! You maggot! You insect! You are lower than an insect. You are the second cousin to a cockroach, the son-in-law of a bedbug. You are the nephew of a ringworm. You are nothing. Nothing, do you hear me? Nothing!
At that moment, something broke loose inside of Cherdyakov. Something so deep and vital, so organic, that the damage seemed irreparable. Something drained from him that can only be described as the very life force itself. The matter was over, for once, for all, forever. What happened next was quite simple. Cherdyakov arrived at home, removed his coat, lay down on the sofa, and died. Cherdyakov arrived at home, removed his coat, lay down on the sofa, and inherited 5 million rubles! There's not much point to it, but it is uplifting. I can assure you it is not my intention to paint life any harsher than it is. Some of us are indeed trapped. Witness the predicament of a young governess who cares for and educates the children of a well-to-do family.
Julia!
Trapped indeed.
Julia!
Yes, ma'am?
Look at me, child. Pick your head up. I like to see your eyes when I speak to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And how are the children coming along with their French lessons?
They're very bright children, ma'am.
Eyes up. They're bright, you say. Well, why not? And mathematics. They're doing well in mathematics, I assume.
Oh, yes, madam. Especially Vanya.
Certainly. I knew it. I always excelled in mathematics. He gets that from his mother, wouldn't you say?
Yes, ma'am.
Head up. That's it. Don't be afraid to look people in the eyes, my dear. If you think of yourself as inferior, that's exactly how people will treat you.
Yes, ma'am.
A quiet girl, aren't you? Now then, let's settle our accounts. I imagine you must need money, although you never ask me for it yourself. Let's see. We agreed on 30 rubles a month, did we not?
40, ma'am.
No, 30. I made a note of it. I always pay my governesses 30. Who told you 40?
You did, ma'am. I spoke to no one else concerning money.
Impossible. Maybe you thought you heard 40 when I said 30. If you kept your head up, that would never happen. Look at me again and I'll say it clearly. 30 rubles a month.
If you say so, ma'am.
Settled. 30 a month it is. Now then, you've been here 2 months exactly.
2 months and 5 days.
No, exactly 2 months. I made a note of it. You should keep books the way I do, so there won't be these discrepancies. Subtract night Sundays. We did agree to subtract Sundays, didn't we?
No, ma'am.
Eyes? Certainly, we did. I've always subtracted Sundays. I didn't bother making a note of it because I always do it. Don't you recall when I said we subtract Sundays?
No, ma'am.
Think.
No, ma'am.
You weren't thinking. Your eyes were wandering. Look straight at my face and look hard. Do you remember now?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't hear you, Julia.
Yes, ma'am.
Good girl. I was sure you'd remember. Plus 3 holidays, correct?
2, ma'am. Christmas and New Year's.
And your birthday. That's 3.
But I worked on my birthday, ma'am.
You did? There was no need to. My governesses never worked on their birthdays.
But I did work, ma'am.
But that's not the question, Julia. We're discussing financial matters now. I will, however, only count 2 holidays if you insist. Do you insist?
I did work, ma'am.
Then you do insist.
No, ma'am.
Good. So 3 holidays. That means 12 rubles off. Ah, yes. 4 days Kolya was sick and there were no lessons.
But I gave lessons to Vanya.
True, but I engaged you to teach 2 children, not 1. Shall I pay you in full for only doing half the work?
Oh, no, ma'am.
So we'll deduct it. Ah, yes, 3 days you had a toothache, and my husband let you go home after lunch.
After 4. I worked until 4.
I have here, did not work after lunch. We have lunch at 1 and are finished at 2, not at 4, correct?
Well, yes, ma'am, but
That's 7 rubles. 7 and 12 is 19. Subtract leaves 41 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, January 4th, you broke a teacup and saucer. Is that true?
Just the saucer, ma'am.
What good is a teacup without a saucer? That's 2 rubles. It cost much more. It was an heirloom. But let it go. I'm used to taking losses.
Thank you, ma'am.
January 9th, Kolya climbed a tree and tore his jacket.
But I forbid him to do so, ma'am.
But he didn't listen, did he? 10 rubles. January 14th, Vanya's shoes were stolen.
By the maid, ma'am. You discharged her yourself.
But you get paid good money to watch everything. We discussed that in our first meeting. Perhaps you weren't listening that day, Julia. Were you listening or was your head in the clouds?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, your head was in the clouds?
Oh, no, ma'am. I was listening.
Good girl. So we'll deduct it. 5 rubles off. Now, yes, January 16th, I gave you 10 rubles.
You didn't.
But I made a note of it. Why would I make a note of it if I didn't give it to you?
I don't know, ma'am.
That's not a satisfactory answer, Julia. Why would I make a note of giving you 10 rubles if I didn't give it to you? No answer? But I must have given it to you, mustn't I?
If you say so, ma'am.
What's this? Tears? Are you crying? Something made you upset, Julia? Please tell me. It pains me to see you this way.
That's led to tears. Only once since I've been here have I ever been given any money. That was by your husband. On my birthday, he gave me 3 rubles.
Really? There's no note of it in my book. I'll put it down now. 3 rubles. Ah, thank you for telling me. I can be a little lax with my accounts sometimes. Always shortchanging myself. Take 3 more from 14 leaves. 11 rubles. Do you wish to check my figures?
That's not necessary, ma'am.
All right. Well, here's your salary for 2 months, dear. 11 rubles. Count it.
There's no need to, ma'am.
Come, let's keep the record straight. Count it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are only 10, ma'am.
Are you sure? Possibly you dropped one. Look on the floor.
I didn't drop any, ma'am. I'm quite sure.
Well, I know I gave you 11 rubles. It's not here on my desk. Look on the floor.
It's all right, ma'am. 10 rubles will be fine.
All right, well, take the 10 for now, and if we can't find it on the floor later, we'll discuss it again next month.
Thank you, ma'am. You're very kind, ma'am.
I've done? I've robbed you, cheated you. I have no such notes in my book. I made up whatever came into my mind. Instead of the 80 rubles that I owed you, I gave you only 10. I've actually stolen from you, and still you thank me. Why?
In the other places I've worked, they didn't give me anything at all.
Then they cheated you even worse than I did. Just playing a little joke on you. Cruel lesson just to teach you. You are much too trusting, and in this world that's very dangerous. I'm going to give you the entire 80 rubles. It's all ready for you. Here, take it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Julia! Is it possible to be so spineless? Why don't you protest? Why don't you speak up? Why don't you cry out against this cruel and unjust treatment? Is it really possible to be so guileless? So innocent? Such a pardon me for being so blunt. Such a simpleton?
Yes, ma'am. It's possible. Julia was so enraged by such cruel and unjust treatment that she quit her job on the spot and returned back to her poor parents, where she inherited 5 million rubles! It is my intention someday to write a book of 37 short stories, all with that same ending. I do love it so. You know, it has been said that man is the only creature capable of laughter, and it is that faculty that separates us from the lower forms of life. Still, one must wonder about this theory when we examine some of the objects of our laughter. For example, pain. Pain, needless to say, is no laughing matter. Unless, of course, it is someone else who's doing the suffering. Why, the sight of a man in the throes of excruciating agony from an abscess tube that has enlarged his jaw to the size of an orange is funny. I couldn't say. It is not funny, not in the least. But in the village of Asemko, where they have very little access to entertainment, a man with a toothache can tickle their ribs for weeks. Certainly, Sergei von Miglitov, the Sexton, saw nothing humorous about it. Yet, as he passed through the village on his way to the hospital, his moans and groans once more chuckled from sympathetic remarks. Wouldn't he find it even more amusing to know that the good doctor, who normally performed the extractions of angry teeth, was away at the wedding of his daughter, and the duty fell to his new assistant, Kuryatin, an eager medical student, if alas poor Sexton, an inexperienced one.
Greetings, Father. What brings you here?
The pain is unbearable. It is beyond unbearable. It is unendurable.
Well, where exactly is the pain?
Where isn't it? It's not just the tooth. It's the whole side of my mouth.
And, how long have you had this agony?
10 years.
10 years!
Since yesterday morning. It feels like 10 years. I must have sinned terribly to deserve this. God must have dropped all other business to punish me this way. Where is the doctor?
The doctor's away on personal business, but he left the care of his patients in my young and capable hands.
Are you a doctor?
In every way except a degree, I'm a doctor to be.
Then I'm a patient to be. Goodbye.
I can assure you the only thing that prevents me from being called doctor is the formality of an examination. I'm skilled, I'm just not titled. Please, I beg you for this opportunity, Father. Please sit in the chair.
Oh, heaven help me today. Oh, even sitting hurts.
No doubt the nerves are inflamed. Once removed, the pain will cease to be.
You're going to remove the nerves?
The tooth that's connected to a nerve. It's a simple matter of surgery.
The cigar.
What?
Your cigar is burning my eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you rather I put it out? I only smoke it to steady my nerves.
Smoke it. Smoke the cigar.
There we are.
I pray for you. I pray to the saints and to our dear Lord in heaven. Be gentle with me. Spare me pain.
My dear Sexton, we're living in an age of advanced science. Skilled hands, there's no longer need for pain. If it's gentleness you want, it's gentleness you'll have. Now, are you ready? Good, please open your mouth so I can examine you. Come, open your mouth, please. My dear Sexton, inexperienced as I am, I know it's essential you open your mouth. It's mandatory to all work concerning the mouth to have it open first. It would be highly impractical for me to have to pull your tooth from the outside. Now please open up. Not the lips, the entire mouth. I don't want to brush your teeth, I want to examine them.
Will you be gentle?
Did I promise you I would?
As a child, I was promised many things that I never got.
There's no pain connected to this part. This part is merely an examination of what must be done, where, and how. Now open up. Ah, yes. There it is. There's the ugly little fellow. You're a nasty one, aren't you?
Stop talking to it. Don't make friends with it. Pull it out.
Don't rush me. I'm evaluating. Your tooth has a hole in it big enough to drive a horse and carriage over.
What is it?
It's even disgusting to look at. But this is going to be my profession. I have to get used to these things. Now, I want to try something.
Be gentle.
As though I were your own mother.
My mother didn't like me. Gentler.
I want to see how exposed the nerve is. All I'm going to do is gently blow on your tooth. That's all. All right, excuse me. I have some information for you. The nerve is exposed.
Is this how far science has advanced? Blowing on teeth?
It's still inconclusive. More work must be done in this field. So much depends on the temperature of the doctor's breath. Ah, here we are.
What are you gonna do with those?
Like I said, the tooth has to be pulled. It'll be out quicker than you can spit.
Oh, merciful God.
Surgery is nothing. It's all a matter of a firm hand.
I pray for you. May the Lord enlighten your soul. May he give you health and quickness. Mostly quickness.
Amen.
Amen.
This will come out easily. Some teeth give you trouble, I admit, but that's only when the roots are deep. I hope you prayed for shallow roots. All right, here we go. Don't do that. Don't grab my hand. Let go. Let go, I say. You've got my hand again. If I'm going to pull your tooth, I need my hand. Are you going to let go? If you don't let go, I'm going to take these forceps and pull your fingers out. Let's try this once more. Good, good. Don't twitch, sit still. You're twitching again. Now, the important thing here is to get a deep enough hold so we don't break the crown. All right, this time I got a firm grip on the little monster. Now, whatever I do, don't grab my hand. I'm going to have enough trouble with your tooth without you interfering. Steady now. When I say 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it! I pulled it out! My first tooth!
You pulled it all right. I hope they pull you into the next world like that.
Oh, I knew it. The crown broke. What a mess this is going to be. I told you not to twitch.
You butcher! You carpenter! You're God's vengeance for my sins. Compared to you, the toothache was a joy.
You ignorant peasant! The only thing harder than the roots in your tooth are the brains in your head. Now get back in the chair. We have unfinished business.
Keep away from me, sorcerer. If you put your fingers near my mouth, it'll be the first solid food I eat this week.
You're not leaving here until those roots come out. It's a question of my professional pride.
Get it! What kind of crazy person are you? What are you doing to me? Who are you people? What? No! Stay away! No! I give up.
I failed my duty.
my child. Let us pray for a miracle. Dear Lord in heaven,
Dear God above,
I prayed for this good doctor.
I pray for this poor creature.
keep his hands steady.
Keep his mouth open.
Don't let him falter.
Don't let him bite me.
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Hail Mary!
Peter Semyonych was the greatest seducer of other men's wives that I've ever met. He was successful with all women for that matter, but there was a special challenge to beautiful women married to rich, prominent, successful young men. I could never do him justice. Let him tell you in his own words.
If I may say so myself, I am the greatest seducer of other men's wives I've ever met. I say this not boastfully, but as a matter of record. The staggering figures speak for themselves. For those men interested in playing this highly satisfying but often dangerous game, I urge you to take out pen and paper and take notes. I'm going to explain my methods. In defense, married women may do likewise, but it will do you little good should you happen to be the chosen victim. My method never fails. Now then, there are 3 vital characteristics needed. They are patience, more patience, and still more patience. For those who lack the strength to wait and persist, I urge you to take up bicycling or rowing, perhaps. Seducing just isn't for you. Now then, in order to seduce a man's wife, you must remain as far away from her as possible. Pay her practically no attention at all. Ignore her if you must. We will get to her through the husband. You are about to witness a practical demonstration. As it so happens, I am madly and deeply in love this week. My heart pounds with anticipation, knowing that in a few moments, she will walk through this garden with her husband. Every fiber of my being tells me to throw my arms around her and embrace her with all the passion in my heart. But observe how a master works. I shall be cool almost to the point of freezing. My heart of hearts and spouse arrive.
Ah, Peter Semyonych. Fancy meeting you here.
My dear Nicole, you're looking well. How good to see you.
Ha, thank you, and you dirty rascal. You're always looking well. Have you met my wife, Irina? Of course you have. Dinner at the Vestonovs, right? Yes. Irina, I don't know what this charmer has said to you, but I must warn you that he is a scoundrel, a notorious bachelor, and an excellent swordsman. That's the best I can say for you, Peter.
Oh, my dear Nicky, you exaggerate. Madam, notice I'm not looking at her.
We were just taking a stroll, if you're not busy. Why don't you join us?
Oh, that's very kind of you, Nicky, but as it so happens, I am riveted to this spot. A new romance has entered my life, and my legs are like pillars of granite. Until she is out of my sight, I'm afraid I am incapable of movement. Too much, don't you think? As I said, be patient.
Fantastic. You never cease to amaze me, Peter. Pretty, I suppose.
Well, suppose magnificent. Suppose glorious. And you shall suppose correctly.
Any complications?
Oh, a husband as usual. I'm afraid my case looks hopeless.
Ah, nonsense. I'm placing my money on you, Peter, and you know I never place my money unless I'm gonna win. Well, we're off. Good hunting, my boy. Good hunting.
Good to see you again. I'm sometimes awed by the work of a true professional. Notice our eyes hardly met, We exchanged hardly a word, and yet how much she knows about me already. A, I am a popular bachelor. B, a man in love, always titillating to romantic women. C, an exceptional sportsman, a nice contrast to her sedentary husband. And D, a dangerous man with the ladies. Quite frankly, by this point, she is disgusted by me. Because A, I'm a liar and a scoundrel. B, I am shamelessly frank as to my intentions. And C, she thinks she's not the one I'm interested in. Oh, forgive me if I'm overcome by my own deviousness. Oh, by the way, are you getting all this down? It gets tricky from here on in. The next step is hypnosis. Not hypnosis with your eyes, but with the poison of your tongue. Much like a venomous snake moving in for the kill. What's more, the best channel is through the husband. Witness as I accidentally run into him one day at the club.
Peter, you're looking glum. I take it your pursuit isn't going well.
Oh, is it that obvious? I'm doomed, Nicky. I haven't seen her since I last saw you and your dear wife. Oh, I sleep little and eat less. I've had all my shirt collars taken in half an inch. Oh, Nicky, why do I waste my valuable youth chasing women I can never truly call my own? How I envy you.
Envy me? What is there about me that you envy?
Why, your marriage, of course. A lovely woman, your wife, let me tell you.
Really? What is there about her that fascinates you so?
Oh, her grace, her quiet charm, everything, but mostly it's the way she looks at you, Nicky. Oh, if only someone would look at me like that, with such adoring, loving eyes. Must send quivers through your whole body.
Quivers? Not really.
Oh, a tingle, perhaps? Don't tell me you don't tingle when she looks at you.
Oh, I tingle all the time.
She's an ideal woman, Nicky. Take that from a lonely bachelor. Be glad fate gave you a wife like that.
Maybe fate will be just as kind to you.
That's what I'm counting on. Oh, goodness, I'm late for my doctor's appointment.
What's he treating you for?
Melancholia! Please, say hello to your extraordinary wife for me, but I beg of you, do not repeat a word of our conversation. It may upset her fragile sensitivities. Oh, where is the woman for me? I know where. The question is, how soon will she be mine? There is still work to be done, but not by me. That task falls to my aide and accomplice. Oh, by the way, I saw Peter Semyonych today.
Oh, by the way, I saw Peter Semyonych today.
Who?
Peter Semyonych, the bachelor. We met him in the gardens last week. The attractive fellow. You remember.
I remember what a loathsome man he is.
Oh, you may not think so when you hear what he had to say about you.
Nothing that braggart had to say would interest me.
He spoke most enthusiastically about you. He was enraptured by your grace and your quiet charm. And he seemed to think that you were capable of loving a man in some extraordinary way. It was something about your eyes and the way you looked so adoringly. He had a lot to say about you. He went on and on. Well, good night, my love.
Good night. What else? What else did he have to say about me?
Peter?
Whatever that loathsome man's name is. What else did Peter Semyonych say about me?
Oh, well, that's more or less it, what I told you.
But you said he went on and on.
He did.
But you stopped. If he went on and on, don't stop. Either go on and on, or let's go to bed.
Yeah, of course. He said how much he envied me. How much he wanted someone to look at him the way that you look at me.
How does he know how I look at you?
Well, it must have been that day in the gardens. He must have been looking at you when you were looking at me. It sent tingles through my whole body.
The way I looked at you?
Precisely, my love.
But you were looking at him, so you couldn't have seen how I was looking at you. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the flowers because he made me nervous the way he kept avoiding looking at me. You must have tingled for some other reason.
Well, it's getting rather confusing. The point is, he found you fascinating. I thought that would please you.
Well, it doesn't. I'd rather you didn't tell me such stories. Are you planning to see him again soon?
Tomorrow for lunch.
Well, I would rather not be discussed over lunch. Tell him that. And at dinner you can tell me what he said. Good night, Nikki.
Oh, good night, my love.
Good night, my love. I am spellbound by my own powers. I've succeeded in not only piquing her interest, but in causing her heart to flutter at the very mention of my name, the same man she called loathsome not 2 minutes ago. All this was accomplished, mind you, while I was at home taking a pine-scented bath. Luncheon the next day was not only nourishing, but productive. By the way, old man, I ran into Nekrasov yesterday, the artist. It seems he's been commissioned by some wealthy prince to paint the head of a typical Russian beauty. I said I knew just the person, but I didn't dare ask her myself. What do you think of asking your wife?
Asking my wife what?
Why, to be the model, of course, that lovely head of hers. It would be a damn shame if that exquisite face missed the chance to be immortalized for all the world.
For all the world, huh? I see what you mean.
Why don't you discuss it with her?
Good idea. I'll go discuss it with her. Well, I said I would discuss it with you. What do you think?
I think it's nonsense. How did he put it to you? I mean, did he actually say a typical Russian beauty?
Exactly. He said it would be a damn shame for that exquisite face to miss the opportunity to become immortalized for all the world. That's exactly what he said.
He gets carried away by his own voice. Those exact words? You didn't leave anything out?
Oh, yeah, right. He left out that lovely face. That lovely face. He said that a number of times, I think.
He does go on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
How many times did he say it? Once, twice, what?
Well, let me think. It's hard to remember.
It's not important. But in the future, I wish you'd write these things down.
Of course.
Have you seen me near her? Have you heard me speak to her? Has any correspondence passed between us at all? No, my dear pupils, and yet she hangs on my every word uttered by her husband. Awesome, isn't it? We apply this treatment from 2 to 3 weeks. Her resistance is weakening, weakening, weakening.
His mind is elsewhere, if you ask me, on some other woman by the looks of him.
Woman? What woman? Has he mentioned any woman in particular?
Oh, no, he's too discreet for that. He wouldn't give any name at any cost. Instead, he speaks of you all day. I'm beginning to feel sorry for him.
It's none of our concern, Nikki. Did you ask him to dinner tomorrow?
He's busy.
The day after, then?
Still busy.
Next week? Next month? When? Doesn't the man eat?
I tell him that, and he said he's involved on some very important project and that it would be months before he can see us. But he did say with some patience and persistence, good things will come to him. Oh, by the way, he said you should go on the stage.
Me? On the stage? Why, in heaven's name?
I know. He said, oh, wait, I don't want to misquote him.
Take your time. Try to get it as accurately as possible.
Of course. Yes, he said,
With such an attractive appearance, such grace, such sensitiveness, it's a sin for her to be just a housewife.
Oh dear, he said that?
oh, yes, and that.
Ordinary demands don't exist for such women.
Nikki, I don't think I want to hear anymore.
Natures like that should not be bound by time and space.
Nikki, I implore you, please stop.
Oh, Ben, he said.
If I weren't so busy, I'd take her away from you.
He said that?
Yeah, right there.
And what did you say to him, Nikki? It's important I know what you said to him then.
Oh, of course. And then I said, well, take her then. I'm not going to fight a duel over her.
Nikki, you mustn't discuss me with him anymore. I beg of you not to mention my name to him ever again.
I don't, my love. He's the one who brings up the subject every single time. He even accused me of not understanding you. He yelled at me, saying,
She's an extraordinary creature, strong, searching for a way out. If I were Turgenov, I'd put her in a novel. The passionate angel, I'd call it.
the man is weird. Definitely weird.
He's delivering my love letters. sealing them with kisses, and he calls me weird. I ask you. So, let's look at what we have so far. The poor woman is definitely consumed with a passion to meet me. She is sure that I am the only man who understands her. It is my voice that sings in her heart, though her yawning and disinterested husband transmits my remarks. The sweet poison is doing its work. There is no room for mercy in the seducing business. I am relentless. Observe how deftly the final stroke is administered. For those who are faint of heart, I urge you, look away.
No, Nikki, I don't want to hear. Not another word from him, nothing.
He told me to tell you that. He told me to say nothing. Because he was afraid of your sweet and sympathetic nature, that you wouldn't want to hear of someone else's distress.
He's in distress?
Worse, he's in the depths of despair, morbid and morose.
But why? What's the matter with him?
Loneliness. He says he has no relatives, no true friends, and not a single soul who understands him.
But doesn't he know how much we understand him perfectly? And doesn't he know how much we appreciate him and commune with him daily? And doesn't he know how much we yearn to be with him? You and I.
Yeah, of course, I tried telling him that, and I even tried to invite him home to dinner with me, but he said he's so depressed. And he's so depressed that he can't even stay inside. So he paces in the public garden where we met him every single night.
What time?
Between 8 or 9. Oh, well, anyway, the Voskoveks invited us over for dinner tomorrow. Is 8 o'clock all right with you?
No, I'm visiting Aunt Sophia tomorrow. She's ill. I'll be there at 9. Or a little after.
Please hold your applause. I couldn't have done it alone. I owe that honor to my dear friend and collaborator, her husband. He wooed her so successfully that there was no carriage fast enough for her to be in my arms. She ran all the way. Observe. You will understand if I ask you to busy yourself with your programs and such. These next few moments are private, and I am, after all, a gentleman. My dear sweet angel, at last I can speak the words I've
No! Not a word, not a sound. Please, I couldn't bear it. Not until you've heard what's in my heart. For weeks now, I've been in torment. You've used my husband as a clever and devious device to rouse my passions, which I freely admit have been lying dormant these past 7 years. Whether you were sincere or not, you've awakened in me desires and longings I never dreamt were possible. You appeal to my vanity, and I succumb. You bestir my thoughts of untold pleasures, and I weaken. You attack my every vulnerability, and I surrender. I am here, Peter Semyonych, if you want me. But let me add this. I love my husband dearly. He's not a passionate man, nor even remotely romantic. Our life together reaches neither the heights of ecstasy nor the depths of anguish. We have an even marriage, moderate and comfortable. And in accepting this condition and the full measure of his devoted love, I've been happy. I come to you now knowing that once you take me in your arms, my marriage and my life with Nicky will be destroyed for all time. I am too weak and too selfish to make the choice. I rely on your strength of character. The option is yours, my dear Peter. Whichever you choose will make me both miserable and eternally grateful. I beg of you not to use me as an amusement, although even with that knowledge, I would not refuse you. I'm yours to do as you will, Peter Semyonych. If you want me, open your arms and I will come to you. If you love me, turn your back, and I will leave and never see or speak to you again. The choice, my dearest, sweetest love of my life, is yours. I await your decision. God bless
bless you, Peter Semyonych. I wish life brings you the happiness you've just brought to me.
Peter Semyonych, the former seducer of other men's wives, from that day on turned his attentions to single, unmarried women only. Until one day, when the perfect girl came along and the confirmed bachelor married at last. That is, until those slight occasions when a charming young officer tells him how attractive he finds his lovely young wife. That sea air is so refreshing. Oh, it revitalizes my entire body. But my mind is blocked. I have no thoughts, no ideas. Most unusual for me. Most times they fill up my brain and overflow it like a cascading fountain, and tonight, nothing. And still I have the urge to write. Something will come, never fear, it always does. These things happen to everyone in my profession at one time or another. Writer's block, we call it. No need to panic. It'll pass soon. Oh, wait, yes, I knew it! An idea is coming! Uh-huh. Terrible idea. False alarm, I am so sorry I disturbed you. Oh, not only was it a bad idea, but I've already written it. It turned out just awful. This won't last long. It's only temporary. However, it's getting to be a very long temporary. Nothing is coming. My nerves are tightening. I can't breathe. Oh, God, help me! No, I mustn't rely on a collaboration with the Almighty. What selfishness to ask God to take time to help me come up with an idea for a story. I'll go home and try to sleep. Tomorrow is another day. If, however, anything does occur to you during the night, I would appreciate it if you would make it known to me. Even if it's just the germ of an idea. I am very clever at twisting things around. Look how desperate I've become, asking the Lord to resort to plagiarism for my petty needs. Home. I must get home into bed before this thing becomes serious.
You, ma'am. May I have a word with you?
Who's there? I can't see you too well in the dark.
Evening, ma'am. I was wondering if you were in the mood for a little, entertainment this evening.
Entertainment? I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about.
Entertainment. Amusement, so to speak. A little diversion, if you know what I mean.
I think I do know what you mean, and I'm not interested. How dare you make such a proposal to a lady?
This is a once-in-a-lifetime offer. Not even a little bit curious?
Curiosity is the nature of my profession, but I try to keep it morally elevated. Excuse me.
Maybe you're right. Maybe this is too much for a kind lady of your sensitivity.
Wait!
Got you with that last one, didn't I?
Now I'm just asking, mind you, but what exactly is this entertainment that you speak of?
Well, ma'am, how would you like to see a drowned woman?
I beg your pardon?
A drowned woman. A woman with her lungs filled with salt water, stone dead from drowning. How much would you pay to see that?
Pay? Pay to see a drowned woman? I wouldn't look at a drowned woman if they paid me. Why would I want to look at a drowned woman? What's the point in looking at a woman who drowned? You're mad! Get out of here!
3 rubles! That's all it'll cost you to see her first, before she's in the water. And then, in the agonizing act Then the finale. The woman already drowned. Rest her soul.
I can't believe I'm actually discussing the price of admission to a drowning.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Is there any added attachments, like a dinner show?
Yes, the dinner show. It starts in 2 minutes.
Why do I stand here listening to this?
I wish you'd make up your mind soon, ma'am. In 5 minutes, that restaurant throws its garbage into the water, and then it gets messy. I have my pride.
To hell with your pride! It doesn't prevent you from making a living imitating a deceased swimmer!
You sure know how to strike a woman's vulnerable points. That was cruel, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be cruel.
You completely overlooked the finer points to my profession. Look here. Have you ever seen a coal miner at the end of the day? Filth and grime all over his body, stood up his nostrils and black grit in his teeth. Disgusting. Or a barber who comes home at night with the cuttings of other people's hair stuck to his hands. It gets in his bread, his soup. Nauseating. Do you know where a surgeon puts his fingers?
Oh, please!
Or a farmer his feet? Every man deals with dirt in his profession someday. On the other hand, I deal with water. Water's wet, it's clean, it's purifying. I don't have to come home and take a bath. Can you say the same, ma'am?
Do you expect me to discuss my toilet habits with you? My God, you're infuriating. There must be a carriage around here somewhere. Cabby! Cabby!
Right. You'll be back one day, bored to death, dying to see a good drowning. And I'll be gone. This is my last week here. Next week I'm in Yalta.
There's a police officer. Now, if you don't leave me alone, I'll have you arrested for soliciting.
I'm not soliciting. I'm in the maritime entertainment business.
Drowning is not maritime entertainment. You're a waterfront lunatic. Officer! Officer!
I'm going. I'll tell you one thing. The drowning business isn't what it used to be.
Can I help you, ma'am?
Yes, you can. There is a waterfront lunatic behind the docks. She's been pestering me all evening. I shouldn't be surprised if she were deranged.
There's a lot of strange people around these docks at night, ma'am. A lady like you shouldn't be wandering around here. What was she pestering you about?
Well, I'm warning you, you're going to find this strange. She wanted to charge me 3 rubles to watch her drown. Can you imagine?
Strange. It's outright thievery. It's not worth more than 60 kopecks. You can get as fine as drowning as you'd want to see and not pay a penny more. You need to learn how to bargain with these men, ma'am. Stick to your price.
Officer, you seem to miss the point.
There are 2 brothers on the next pier over. For 1 ruble each, they'll give you a double drowning. You need to learn how to bargain with these men, ma'am.
It's not a question of price.
3 rubles! Why, the other day, 14 men acted out an entire shipwreck for 3 rubles. On a good day, for 10 rubles, you can get the whole navy going down. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. 60 kopecks. That's what I pay for a fine drowning. Stick to your price, ma'am, and have a nice evening.
It's come. It's finally come. The day the world has gone mad has arrived at last.
I see the officer's gone. What'd you tell him, ma'am?
Tell her I told her the truth, that you were mentally unbalanced. Unfortunately, she was a little more mentally unbalanced than you.
Still, I appreciate you not causing me any trouble. And in gratitude, I am reducing my price to all-time low. 80 kopecks.
80? 80, you thief! You conniving, wretched, deceiving little thief! I won't pay you more than 60.
60? 60 kopecks for a drowning? Where's my profit? My towels cost me 40 kopecks, and the fellow who fishes me out is another 40. What's the point? I might as well stay under.
You can't cheat me, ma'am. 60 kopecks for the drowning. Take it or leave it.
You're a hard sell, ma'am. A hard sell indeed. 60 kopecks it is. My God, do I wish my son doesn't want to become a drowner.
30, 40, 50, 60. There's your money. Now where should I stand?
Right here on the edge of the docks. That's where you'll get all the action.
It's a bit dark down there. You sure I'll be able to see well?
That's what makes it so eerie. The eerier, the more entertaining. Well, here I go. Oh, I almost forgot! When I come up for air for the
third time, yell at the top of your lungs, Popnikowski! Popnikowski!
Who's Popnikowski?
He's the fellow who comes and fishes me out. I can't swim, ma'am.
You can't swim? How do you expect to drown yourself without knowing how to swim?
That's what makes it so exciting. Popnikowski always makes me feel very much like I can come in and fish me out. He's in that restaurant over there, having a drink. Popnikowski. Don't forget the name. Well, here I go. If you like it, tell your friends. In the soup, as we say.
Over here, a little towards me. I can't see you too well down there.
I can't swim. God help me!
Oh, yes, good. More of that. Yes, well, a little less of that. Can you drown now? Can you hear me? I said I would like to have you drown now. Where the devil is she? That's the third time, isn't it? Now, what was that fellow's name? Started with a P. Woo!
Next actress, please. Next actress, please. Name?
What?
Your name.
Oh, Nina.
Nina. Is that all? Just Nina?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, no, ma'am. Nina Mikolayovna Zerakanaya.
Age?
My age?
Yes, please. That means, how old are you?
How old are you looking for?
Couldn't you just answer the question simply, please?
Yes, ma'am, but I just wanted you to know I could be any age you want. 16, 30. Last year in school, I played a 78-year-old woman with rheumatism. Everybody thought it was very believable. 79-year-old rheumatic woman told me herself.
Yes, but I'm not looking for a 78-year-old rheumatic woman. I'm looking for a 22-year-old girl. Now, how old are you?
22, ma'am.
Really? I would have guessed 27 or 28.
Oh, I have a bad head cold, ma'am. It makes me look older. Last year when I had influenza, the doctor thought I was 39. I promise I could be 22 when you need it, ma'am.
Do you have a fever?
Yes, ma'am. It's 103.
Good God! What are you doing walking around in the dead of winter with a 103-degree temperature? Go home, child. Go to bed. You can come back some other time.
Oh, no, ma'am, please. I waited 6 months to get this audition. Now, counting the 3 months I waited to get on the 6-month waiting list, if they put me on the end of that list again, I'll have to wait another 6 months, and it'll be too late to be 22. Please, ma'am, I'm really feeling much better. I think I'm down to 101 now.
I can see you have your heart set on being an actress.
Oh, my heart, my soul, my very breath, the bones in my body, the
We've
blood,
had enough
veins,
of your
the
medical
muscles.
history. Thank you. Just what practical experience do you have?
As what?
Well, for example, the thing we're discussing. Acting? How much acting experience do you have?
Well, I studied acting for 3 years under Madame Zablinska.
She teaches here in Moscow.
No, in my high school. In Odessa. But she was a very great actress herself.
Here in Moscow.
No. In Odessa.
You are then, strictly speaking, an amateur.
Yes, ma'am. In Moscow. In Odessa, I'm a professional.
Yes, that's all very well, but Odessa, though I grant you a lovely city, theatrically speaking, is not Moscow. I suggest you go home and get some more experience,
I've
or
traveled
maybe take an
for 4
aspirin or
days
two.
to get here, ma'am. Won't you just hear me read?
My dear child, I find this very embarrassing.
Even if you did not employ me, just to read for you would be a memory I would cherish for the rest of my life. If I may be so bold, ma'am, but I think you're one of the greatest authors in all of Russia.
Really? Perhaps we do have a few minutes.
Oh, I've read almost everything you've written. Articles, the stories. I love the one about... the one about... God, every time I think of it, I can't control myself.
Really? Really? Which story is that?
The death of a government clerk. Oh God, I love for days.
The death of a government. I don't think I remember that one. Which story was that?
Cherdyakov, the sneezing splatterer.
Oh. But you found that funny, did you? Strange. I meant that to be sad.
Oh, it was sad. It was tragically funny. I cried for days.
Really? And of everything you've read, what was your favorite?
My very favorite?
Yes, what was it?
Tolstoy's War and Peace. You asked me what my favorite was.
Well, you're an honest little thing, aren't you? It's refreshing. Irritating, but refreshing. Very well then. What are you going to read for me?
I should like to read from the Three Sisters.
Indeed. Which sister?
All of them, if you have the time.
Good God, why don't you just read the entire play while you're
Oh,
at
thank
it?
you, ma'am. I know it all. Act 1, a drawing room in the Prozanov's house. There are 2 large French doors with a bright sun shining through.
That's not necessary. An excerpt will do nicely. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I should like to do the last moment of the play.
Good, good. That shouldn't take very long. Whenever you're ready.
Oh, I've been ready for 6 months, ma'am. Not counting the 3 months I waited to get on the 6-month waiting list.
Please, begin.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, please, ma'am, could you say Tara Boomdier, sit on the curb I may?
Of course not. Why would I say such an idiotic thing?
I don't know, ma'am. You wrote it. Jabuticin says it at the end of the play. Please, help me greatly if you just say that one line. I waited for 6 months. I traveled all the way from Odessa.
All right, all right. Very well then. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Ta ra ra boom dee day. Sit on the curb I may.
And Masha says, oh, listen to that music. They're leaving us. One is gone for good. Forever. We are left alone to begin our life over again. We must live. We must live. And Irina says, a time will come when we shall know what all of this is for, why there's all this suffering, and there will be no mysteries. But meanwhile, we must live. We must work, only work. Tomorrow I shall go alone and I shall teach in a school and give my whole life to those who need it. Now it is autumn and soon winter will come and cover everything with snow, but I shall go on, working. Working. Shall I finish?
Please.
And Olga says, the music plays so gaily, so valiantly. One wants to live. Oh my God, time will pass and we shall be forgotten. Our faces will be forgotten, our voices and how many there were of us. But our sufferings will turn into joy for those who live after us. Happiness and peace will come to this earth, and they will remember kindly and bless those who are living now. Oh, my dear sisters, it seems as if just a little more and we shall know why we live, why we suffer. If only we knew. If only we knew. Thank you, ma'am. You've made me very happy. God bless you, ma'am.
Will somebody go get her before she walks all the way back to Odessa?
Kistunov!
Shh. Please lower your voice.
I'm sorry, Miss Kistunov.
It's just that my gout is acting up again, and my nerves are like little firecrackers. The least little friction can send them off.
That must be very painful.
Combing my hair this morning was agony.
Miss Kistunov?
What is it, Pachotkin?
There's a woman out front. I can't make head or tail of her story, but she insists on seeing the directing manager. But perhaps if you're not feeling well.
No, the business of the bank comes before my minor physical ailments. Show her in, please. Quietly. Oh, good morning, madame. Forgive me for not standing, but I'm somewhat incapacitated. Please sit down.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Well, madam, you can help me. I pray to God you can help. Nobody else in this world seems to care.
Okay, calm yourself. I beg you, please calm yourself. Please.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure we can sort it all out if we approach the problem sensibly and quietly. Now, what exactly is trouble?
Well, madam, it's my husband, Collegiate Assessor Shellene. He's been sick these 5 months. 5 agonizing months.
I know the horrors of illness and can sympathize with you, madam. What's the nature of his illness?
It's a nervous disorder. Everything just grates on his nerves. If you so much as touch him, he'll scream out, "Ah!" How or why he got it, nobody knows.
I have an inkling. Please go on a little less descriptively if possible.
Well, while the poor man was lying in bed.
You're not going to scream again, are you?
Not that I don't have a cause. While the poor man was lying in bed these 5 months recuperating, he was dismissed from his job for no reason at all.
That's a pity, certainly, but I don't quite see the connection with our bank, madam.
You don't know how I've suffered during his illness. I nursed him from morning till night, doctored him from night till morning. Besides cleaning the house, taking care of the children, feeding the dog, the cat, the goat, my sister's bird who was sick.
The bird was sick?
My sister! She gets dizzy spells. She's been dizzy a month now and is getting dizzier every day.
Extraordinary, however.
And then I had to take care of her children and feed her cat and her goat, and then her bird bit one of my children, so my cat bit her bird, and then my oldest daughter, the one with a broken arm, drowned her cat, and so now she wants my goat in exchange, or else she says she'll either drown my cat or break my oldest daughter's other arm.
Well, you've certainly had your patch of troubles, haven't you? But I don't quite see...
And then when I went to go pick up my husband's pay, they deducted 24 rubles and 36 kopecks. For what, I asked, because they said he borrowed it from the employees' fund. But that's impossible. He'd never borrow without my permission. I'd break his arm. Not really sick, of course. I don't have the strength. I'm not feeling well myself, madam. I have this racking cough that's a terrible thing to hear.
I can well understand why it took your husband 5 months to recuperate. But what is it you want from me, madam?
What rightfully belongs to my husband. His 24 rubles and 36 kopecks. They wouldn't give it to me because I'm a woman, weak and defenseless. Some of them even laughed in my face, madam. Laughed. Tee-hee, hee-hee-hee, ha-ha-ha! Where's the humor, I wonder, in a weak, defenseless woman like myself?
None. I see none at all. However, madam, I don't wish to be unkind, but I'm afraid you've come to the wrong place. Your petition, no matter how justified, has nothing to do with us. You'll have to go to the agency where your husband was employed.
What do you mean? I've been to 5 agencies already, and none of them will even listen to my petition. I feel like I'm losing my mind. The hair is coming out of my head. Look at my hair! By the fistful! Don't tell me to go to another agency.
Please, madam, keep your hair in its proper place. Now listen to me very carefully. This is a bank. A bank. We're in the banking business. We bank money. Funds that are brought here are banked by us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What do you say?
I'm saying that I can't help you.
Are you saying you can't help me?
I'm trying. I really don't think I'm making headway.
Do you not believe my husband is sick? Here. Here's a doctor's certificate. There's the proof. Do you still doubt my husband's suffering from nervous disorder?
Not only do I not doubt it, I would swear to it.
Look at it. You didn't even look at it.
It's really not necessary. I know full well how your husband must be suffering.
What is the point in a doctor's certificate if you do not look at it? Look at it.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. I see your husband is sick. It says it right here on the doctor's certificate. However, madam, I'm afraid you've still come to the wrong place. I'm getting excited.
You lied to me. I took you as a woman of your word, and you lied to me.
I lie? When?
When you said you read the doctor's certificate. You couldn't have. You couldn't have read the description of my husband's illness without seeing he was fired unjustly. Don't take advantage of me just because I'm a weak, defenseless woman. Do me the simple courtesy of reading the doctor's certificate. That's all I ask. Just read it and I'll go.
But I read it. What's the point in reading something twice when you've already read it once?
Well, you didn't read it carefully.
I read it in detail.
Well, then you read it too fast. Read it slower.
I don't have to read it slower. I'm a fast reader.
Well, then, maybe you didn't absorb it. Let it sink in this time.
I absorbed it. It sank in. I could pass a test on what's written here, but it doesn't make any difference because it has nothing to do with our bank.
But did you read the part where it said he has a nervous disorder? Read that part again and see if I'm wrong.
That part? Oh, yes. I see your husband has a nervous disorder. My, how terrible. Only I can't help you. Now please go.
I'm sorry, Your Excellency. I hope I haven't caused you any pain.
Please don't kiss my foot. Ah! Can't you get this into your balding head? If you would just realize that to come to us with this kind of claim is as strange as you trying to get a haircut in a butcher shop.
You can't get a haircut in a butcher shop. Why would anyone go to a butcher shop for a haircut? Are you laughing at me?
Laughing? I'm lucky I'm breathing. Pachotkin!
Oh, have I told you I'm fasting? I haven't eaten in 3 days. I try, but nothing stays down. I had the same cup of coffee 3 times today.
Pachotkin!
I'm skin and bones. I faint at the least provocation. Watch. Did you see? Did you see how I fainted? 8 times a day that happens.
Miss Kistunov, whatever's the matter?
Get her out of here! Who let her in my office?
You did, madam. I asked you and you said let her in.
I thought you meant a human being, not a lunatic with a doctor's certificate.
She didn't even read it. I gave it to her and she threw it back in my face. You look like a kind woman. Have pity on me. You read it and see if my husband is sick or not.
Oh, but I did read it, madam. I read it twice.
Me too. I had to read it twice too.
You just looked at it. You didn't read it.
Everyone read it, madam. You showed it to everyone outside. Even the doorman read it.
Don't argue, Pachotkin. Just read it. Read it so we can get her out of here.
Oh, yes. It says your husband is sick. Now, would you please leave, madam, or I'll have someone to escort you.
Yes, good. Remove her. Get the doorman and 2 of the guards. Be careful. She's strong as an ox.
If you touch me, I'll scream so loud they'll hear it all over the city. You'll lose all of your depositors because no one will come to a bank where they beat weak, defenseless women. I think I'm gonna faint again.
Weak. Defenseless. You are as defenseless as a charging rhinoceros. You are as weak as the king of the jungle. You are a plague, madam. A plague that wipes out all that crosses your path. You are a raging river that washes out bridges and stately homes. You are a wind that blows villages over mountains.
Are you saying you're not gonna help me?
Hit her, Pachotkin! Strike her! I give you permission to knock her down! Beat some sense into her!
Do you hear how I'm abused? She would have you hit an orphaned mother. Did you hear me cough earlier? Listen to this cough.
Madam, if we could just discuss this in my office.
Help! I'm being beaten! Oh, merciful God, they're beating me!
Madam, I'm not beating you. I'm simply holding your arm. Beat her, you fool! Hit her while you got the chance. We'll never get her out of here. Knock her senseless.
A curse curse on your bank. I put a curse on you and your depositors. May the money in your vaults turn to potatoes, and the gold in your cellars turn to onions. May your rubles turn to radishes, and your kopecks turn to pickles.
Stop! Stop it, I beg of you. The child can give her the money, give her what she wants. Give her anything, only get her out of here.
24 rubles and 36 kopecks. Not a penny more. That's all that I want, and that's all that's due to me.
Yes, madam. I'll get you your money.
Oh, and I'll need another ruble to get me home. I'd walk, but I have very weak ankles.
Give her enough for a taxi, anything, only get her out.
Oh, bless you, ma'am. You're a kind woman. I remove the curse. Curse be gone. Onions to money, potatoes to gold.
Remove her!
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, my hair is falling out.
Oh, and one other thing, madam. I'll need a letter of recommendation so that my husband can get another job. Don't bother yourself with it today, though. I'll be back in the morning. God bless you, ma'am.
Oh, she's coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back. Woo!
Tuesday afternoon at 3. The adversaries were two aged and retired officers, one military, the other naval. They had served their country long and with distinction, and now, in the twilight of their lives, still had flickerings of sparks igniting their passions, if, alas, no fire was ever started. They debated on every topic under the sun: politics, weather, literature. They never seemed to run out of things to disagree about. And they never did agree on anything except to meet again the following Tuesday at 3 for the purpose of continuing their disagreements. Aha! We are fortunate. Today is Tuesday and the time is 3. I best get moving because this bench that I am sitting on is square in the field of battle, and I have no wish to get caught in the crossfire. I shall watch from a safe vantage point. There, by the children's swing. From the east approaches the army. From the west, the navy. If I had a drum, I would roll it.
We're having today. It's warmer than yesterday. They say it may rain. Comes the sun. It's coming.
So, it's your turn. Pick a subject.
I've got one.
A good one?
In my opinion.
All right then, what's the subject?
Lunch.
Lunch? Your subject is lunch?
It's my turn, isn't it? I pick lunch.
Not much of a subject in my opinion.
Does that mean you concede?
I concede nothing. I merely stated it's a poor subject. But I accept the challenge. If it's lunch, it's lunch. Start.
Are you ready?
Would I say start if I weren't ready? Start means I'm ready. Go ahead. Start.
Very well. Appetizers.
Appetizers, right.
To start off with a lunch, the best appetizer is herring.
Wrong.
Wrong. Herring is not the best appetizer?
It's good. I
didn't say it wasn't good, but not as good as caviar.
You're wrong. Caviar is too rich as an appetizer. It's a dish that should be reserved for special occasions. A little champagne. A snack, yes. An appetizer, never.
Are you telling me that fresh caviar, lemon juice, finely chopped eggs, raw onions garnished with parsley served on lightly salted wafer-thin biscuits is not a good appetizer?
You want to compare it with herring in a white cream sauce, marinated onions, 2 large black olives sitting on either end of the plate, sprinkled with dill, and the end piece of fresh baked brown bread to soak up the drippings of the herring, the onion, and the dill into one final succulent mouthful.
You argue well. I can see the appetizer.
Thank you. Let's move on to the soup.
I don't think we'll have any argument here. Borscht.
Borscht? For a soup, you pick borscht? Out of all the soups in God's creation, you pick an ordinary dish of borscht?
Not in a dish, in a bowl. And there is nothing ordinary about piping hot borscht, served with sweet sugar beets, Ukrainian style, with ham and country sausages served with a thick white sour cream. Are you prepared to challenge a soup like that?
I would sooner have a cabbage soup, steaming from the pot, with thick chunks of boiled potatoes and globs of tender beets still hanging from the bone. And sooner than a cabbage soup, I would take a full-bodied vegetable soup with cauliflower, with carrots, fresh asparagus, and ripe tomatoes. And sooner than a vegetable soup, I would take a fish soup with tripe and giblets and young kidneys floating on the top, so thick you'd have to push
Wait a
your way
minute.
into
Wait
the
a minute.
soup.
I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill, ordinary, everyday served in a restaurant borscht. I'm talking about peasant borscht, the kind you eat with a pound of hot corn bread in your left hand, and in your right hand, a thick, heavy, wooden spoon.
A wooden spoon? That's different. You didn't mention a wooden spoon before. I can see the soup.
Accepted.
Where do we stand?
You won the appetizer, and I won the soup.
Up to here, it's a very close lunch. Next course.
Next course is fish.
Fish. Oh. Well, you can forget about the fish. I don't care much for fish. Whatever you choose for fish is fine with me.
You don't like fish?
I'm not dead set against it. It's all right. It's a great meal. It's not substantial enough. Never satisfies me. To me, the important part of the meal is the roast. Why don't you pick out a fish, then we can move on to the roast.
So you concede the fish.
Mention a fish and I'll concede it.
Pike. A nice piece of pike.
Carp is better.
You all just conceded the fish.
I didn't know you were going to say pike. I don't find pike tasty fish.
A nice pike fried in brown butter with stewed tomatoes with a thick mushroom sauce.
It's tasty if you smother it in carb broiled and lemon juice.
But you already conceded the fish.
Okay, I won't make an issue of it. Change it to carp and I'll concede the fish.
But carp is your fish. Then I'd be conceding.
Fine. What do you change it to?
Brook trout broiled with sliced almonds.
Salmon holidays.
I thought you didn't like fish.
Maybe it's the ones you like that I don't like.
You're purposely doing this.
You accuse me of being false to my taste. You dishonor me.
I dishonor no one. I call for a stalemate on the fish.
So soon? Why give up? There are so few fish that I like.
Very well. Filet of sole cooked with white wine and grapes.
Sea bass cooked in a black bean sauce.
Stalemate! Stalemate!
Don't get your knickers in a knot. We still have a roast to get through. Agreed. Stalemate.
I don't understand why there should be a stalemate on the pike when it's so delicious, especially after we've just had borscht.
What's past is past. The tables have been cleared. We're on to the roast now. I'll let you go first. Do you pass on your turn?
I do. I want you to go first. I don't trust you anymore.
Makes no difference to me. For the roast, I contend there is nothing better than boiled beef served in white, hot horseradish, pearl onions, peas, beans, white bread, and cold spring wine. I can smell it now. I can barely contain my mouth from dripping with saliva. It is, I believe, your turn. Unless you concede to boiled beef.
I do not concede to boiled beef.
Then mention, if you can, a better roast.
A nice piece of pike.
Pike is a fish. We're through with the fish course.
Not in the case of a stalemate. In a stalemate, you can always go back and try again.
When was this decided?
Just now, I decided.
All right, if you say pike again, I say brook trout again. Double stalemate. Next course, boiled beef, your turn.
Ugh, boiled beef. Herring, borscht, and boiled beef. It's a meal for a hungry foot soldier, not a commanding officer and a gentleman.
Am I being challenged or not?
I could challenge your boiled beef with the partridge. I could challenge it with the brace of quail. I could challenge it with the firm young roast turkey.
Turkey. Yes, the turkey's nice.
I could challenge your boiled beef with the hen. A fat, juicy, white meat, thick-breasted hen.
Certainly. Hennazole's nice.
But I'm not going to do it. I challenge your boiled beef with a duck.
A duck? I didn't think of duck. How could I overlook duck? What kind of duck?
A duckling. A round, young, plump duckling. One that has had its taste of the ice during the first frost. And then it's roasted, hand-roasted to a crisp golden brown. The skin so crisp that it crackles in your mouth.
I can see the duck.
Roasted with the potatoes cut small into the dripping pan.
I can see it, I said.
And the potatoes are turned and soaked in the duck fat, while young onions are being roasted to a deep brown, sizzling and frying in the duck fat, while the aroma wafts up into your nostrils, driving your taste buds to a frenzy.
How many times do I have to concede? Are you deaf? I conceded to duck. All right. We're through with the main course.
God, let's move on to the dessert.
For God's sakes.
And the duck is basking in the juice of the Spanish oranges.
Enough already! What is wrong with you? You're acting like a child over a silly piece of pie.
Try it sometime. In butter and oil. You won't think it's so silly.
Do you want to continue or not?
Go ahead. I'm still savoring my duck.
I choose for dessert.
Yes.
For dessert, I choose.
Well, out with it. If you can't think of one, I'll choose.
I'm thinking. I want to end the perfect meal perfectly.
I choose for dessert.
Cold peaches, sweet cream, and brandy.
That's mine. I choose peaches, sweet cream, and brandy. You can't take my dessert.
I can take it if it takes you an hour to think of it. For a meal to be perfect, it's not only what it is, it's when it's served. If I waited for you, I would be hungry again.
I refuse to argue with you anymore.
Then you concede the lunch.
Are you through choosing?
Certainly I'm through. We've gone through all the courses, haven't we? The lunch is over. I've won a clear-cut victory. Concede the fact and we can go home.
But are you really through choosing?
As far as you're concerned, the lunch is over.
Of course it's over. What in God's name to call cold peaches, sweet cream, and brandy?
A cigar. A big, black, Hanson cigar,
Followed by a
2-hour nap.
Forgot about that cigar.
You know what kind of nap you have after a good cigar? Delicious. A delicious nap. Not a hard-working, tiring sleep you have at night. A light nap is delicate. You sleep softly with warm, sweet dreams, like the kind you had when you were 30. That's how you end the perfect lunch.
How could I forget about a cigar and a nap?
And when you wake up, a mint. A white, tangy peppermint. Fills the entire sour taste in the mouth.
All right, that's enough already. You've won. You don't have to rub my nose in it.
And with the mint, an afternoon newspaper. Blanket on your lap, a cozy fire, and a dog at your feet to rub your toes in. And as you sit there with your body warm to a perfect temperature, you read only good news in the newspaper. France is in a political trouble. They're starving in Ireland. England is having financial crisis, but here, everything is good. And as you're about to fall off into the perfect sleep, a letter arrives in the mail that the Tsar has just awarded you with another medal. And then you drop off with a smile on your face. The perfect lunch is over, and you have nothing else to do until that evening, when the perfect dinner is served. You want to challenge me for the perfect dinner? I'll let you go first. Hors d'oeuvres.
It's my turn to choose the subject, not yours.
I've had enough for today. Not feeling so well. A bit chilly.
You don't look so good. A little pale. Maybe you should see a doctor.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll drop in on Dr. Fashinsky.
Fashinsky? That old butcher? He knows as much about doctoring as my 3-year-old granddaughter.
Are you trying to tell me you know a better doctor today in Russia than Fashinsky?
Do you challenge me?
I challenge you.
But not today. Next week.
Next week it is. You're right. It is getting a bit chilly.
No. I think it's beginning to warm up. Here comes the sun.
It'll rain before you get home.
Next Tuesday, then?
Next Tuesday.
down my pen at the end of a day's work, I cannot help but feel that I robbed my friends of their precious life fluid. What torments my conscience even more is that, well, I've had a wonderful time writing today. But before I go, what was it we were talking about early on before the story of Cherdyakov? Ah, yes, I wanted to tell you what, as a child, what I most wanted to do with my life. Well then, funny, but for the life of me, it seems I can't remember. Yet somehow, as I stand here with a feeling of great peace and contentment, I suspect in some measure I must be doing it. Thank you for this visit. And if ever you pass this way again, please drop by. Good night. Wait! There's an alternate ending. If ever you pass this way again, I hope you inherit 5 million rubles. Good night. Woo!